What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tony the Savant back again. Let me do the intro. Shout out to my cousin Hawk, that's the ambassador. Shout out to my boy Jeezy, that's the manager. Shout out to y'all for pulling up to the video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I greatly appreciate that. Let's get right into the video. We are talking about Thursday night football. Got an exciting game ahead of us. Between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm very, very much so looking forward towards this game. My fantasy quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is playing in this game, so I will be well invested. I do apologize, guys. My fantasy videos have not been able to release them just as of yet. There's been so much other stuff coming up. So when I get the time, I will be able to sit down and release a fantasy football video. We'll try to get that done before next Sunday. So anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Thursday night football, once again, Philadelphia Eagles versus the Minnesota Vikings. I'm expecting this game to be a pretty good one. When I covered the Buccaneers versus the Vikings and the Eagles versus the Patriots games, I made some observations. And so I'm going to reshare those observations in this video to an extent, while also adding on to what I feel like these teams could do to adjust moving forward in this game. So once again, last week, Jalen Hurts, we put up 22. He went 22 for 33, 170 yards, one touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell was a spark. He was able to get 14 rushes, 54 yards. A.J. Brown was balling, 70 receptions, 79 yards. Devontae Smith was balling. He was one of the best receiving cores in the league. He also had 7 receptions for 47 yards and a touchdown. The Eagles' defense was looking Super Bowl-ish. Looks like they definitely want to get back to the Super Bowl. Reed Blankenship led everyone in the tackle department with 8. Jordan Davis had a half a sack. Josh Sweat had the other half of that sack. The Philadelphia defense, fantasy football wise, they put up 1 interception, 1 fumble return. And I didn't document who had the interception. I'm sorry, guys. 2 sacks, 11 points, fantasy football points, when they were only projected to put up 5. Jake Elliott went 4 for 4 for field goals. 56 yards was his longest. 13 fantasy football points for him. And my player to watch was the entire Philadelphia football team, as I feel like they are on a mission to return to the Super Bowl, and not just return this time, to actually win themselves one. That game against the Patriots, they had some good plays. There were some highs and lows for sure. And I've been saying this in pretty much all of my videos covering the games. There's going to be some rest in week 1, probably in the first few weeks, guys. So I'm not putting too much heat on the underperformers. I feel like Jalen Hurts, he played a pretty solid game. Did I get his rushing numbers? I know he had a few big rushes. No, I did not write down his rushes. But he also had a few big rushes. Like I said, that's my fantasy football quarterback as well. So I'm expecting him to play a lot better this game against the Vikings. He wasn't horrible against the Patriots. He just wasn't, the MVP candidate that we seen last season. Solid, though. Just solid. Yeah, just did enough to get past the Patriots, although the Patriots was trying to make a storming comeback of it. Philadelphia's defense was pretty good that game as well. For the Vikings, I got Kirk Cousins. Last week, he put up 33 of 44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Alexander Madison, 11 rushes, 34 yards. And for the rushing department, the receiving core, one of the best in the league as well. There's going to be a lot of big-name receivers in this game. Justin Jefferson had 9 receptions, 150 yards, 100 yards in the first half. Jordan Addison, 4 receptions, 61 yards and a touchdown. The rookie definitely put his name on the map his first game. T.J. Hawkinson, Uh, uh, a nice consistent presence for them, for Kirk Cousins. He had 8 receptions for 35 yards. The Vikings defense wasn't all that great last week, albeit they were going against a resilient Baker Mayfield. Excuse me, guys, my voice. Daniel Hunter had 1 sack. The fantasy football defensive output for the Vikings: 20 points allowed, 1 sack. They put up 3 points. They were projected to put up 3 points. So and I have the Vikings defense as my players to watch. I just think that offense is going to be there. Kirk Cousins didn't look very good in game 1, of course, but I'm thinking that he'll be able to find his stride. The Vikings had they went 11-0 in 1-score games last season. Opened this season with a loss in a 1-score game, so that's not a good trend to start the season on when you have such a great trend of it last year. Also, that 11-0 in 1-score victories was an NFL record. So Kirk Cousins is always in the mix as far as being a big time talent. A couple notes I made about this game. Again, we discussed the Vikings' disappointing home loss to the Baker Mayfield-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But even in that disappointment, Kirk Cousins is a primetime performer. He usually gets up for the prime games like this Thursday night game. He is 3-0 in the past 3 seasons in Thursday night games. He puts up about 29.3 points a game, 233 yards a game, 233.7 to be exact. He averages about 8.5 yards an attempt. Touchdowns are 5, 3 interceptions. So you definitely don't want to discount Kirk Cousins in a primetime game. But also the Eagles are the 7-point favorite. I feel like the Vikings are missing, and these are just some of my notes that I made, guys. Sorry for bouncing around from both teams, but just rock with me, just stay with me. The Eagles are the 7-point favorite in this game. No run game. Definitely looks like the Vikings are missing Dalvin Cook. Such an electrifying cog in their system. Alexander Madison, I'm buying the Alexander Madison stock. I think that he's a solid running back, but he definitely has to show a little bit more. Excuse me. But Dalvin Cook looked very missed last week. Again, the defense wasn't great last week, but it kept them in the game. Something I didn't mention earlier when I was knocking them. Excuse me. They definitely kept them in the game. They made some key plays last week. It's just Baker Mayfield was on a mission that second half. Are the Philadelphia Eagles experiencing a Super Bowl hangover? We know that it's just one of those lures that a lot of people have discussed and talked about, but is it a real thing? We've seen Super Bowl teams that have made it, or Super Bowl teams that have won, come back the next season and just drop eggs. It looked like the Eagles were experiencing some of that in the beginning of the game last week, but like I said, they was able to pull off some more plays than the Patriots and able to win that game. But is the Super Bowl hangover going to affect the Philadelphia Eagles? We will see. Both teams are coming off a short week, so that's going to make for an interesting dynamic. Usually Thursday night games are low scoring, a lot lower energy, just because of that short week. But we'll see how things go after week 1. I'm sure a lot of guys are sore, after getting the season started. So we'll see what Thursday night's game look like. It is the home opener for the Philadelphia Eagles, so the Vikings will be going up against a very rowdy crowd. We all know Philadelphia fans. They're one of the crazier fan bases, so that could add some juice for the Philadelphia Eagles, get them a little pep in their step. I got the Eagles winning this game 30-23. The Eagles just seem like the better team. Although the offensive line, I had some concerns about them last week as well. They did not play very well. They were able to get it together. Jalen Hurts was able to make some runs, to save them essentially, because the line was just collapsing. But we'll be watching for the offensive line this evening for Thursday night's game as well. Eagles will have to move the ball a lot better, and we're going to need to see the Jalen Hurts. I'm looking for the Jalen Hurts MVP candidate to show up Thursday night and see what he can do. But that's just some of my key points, guys, some of my talking points. Again, I got the Eagles winning this game 30-23. I do expect for the receivers to ball out. We got a lot of star receivers in this game. So I expect a lot of, air mileage, essentially. Also, I'm watching for the Vikings run game. How much did they miss Dalvin Cook? How much do they miss Dalvin Cook? I'm sorry. And, yeah, man, that's essentially what I got for it. That's all I got for it. Excuse me, y'all. Your boy got to get some water or some tea. Voice giving out. But anyway, thank y'all for pulling up. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell if you don't mind, so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on this channel. I got to get back to work, man. Y'all the bosses. I'm got a lot of work. No sleeping over here. Cat naps and coffee. I'm not a player. I'm not a coach. I'm a savant. Y'all get a goal accomplished. Peace.